Good morning. My name is Pam Plinky, and it's my pleasure to welcome you to Reunion Tower today as we formally introduce the new head coach of the Dallas Wings, Jose Fernandez. Jose is joined on the podium by General Manager Kurt Miller. Our program today will be Kurt making an opening statement, and then we'll go to Jose for an opening statement, and then we'll open up questions in person and on Zoom. For those on the Zoom, use the raise hand function, and we'll get to you, and those in the room also use the raise hand function. I will turn it over to Kurt.
Thank you, Pam. Welcome. Appreciate the great turnout today. But I would like to start first and send our thoughts and prayers to the Dallas Cowboys and the tragedy that has unfolded, and our thoughts are with them and the entire organization today. We're excited to be here. It's an exciting day for the Wings to formally introduce Jose. Before we get into the details of our search and introduce Jose, I want to take the time to thank many people. First, most importantly, Bill Cameron and our CEO and managing partner, Greg Bibb, for their continued leadership and support, and very much the vision of where we're headed with the Dallas Wings. I want to thank my co-workers in the GM bucket with Travis Charles and Jasmine Thomas. Appreciate all the work that went behind the scenes and support throughout this process. I want to thank our players that were able to get back in market for today. Appreciate the effort to get back. It's great to see you guys. I know how hard you're working and grinding already this off season for an exciting 26 season. So appreciate that you are here. Also want to thank all the members of our staff. Appreciate the great turnout. Appreciate all the work that goes on behind the scenes. The collaboration between business operations and basketball operations. He's unique with me working for 3 different franchises in my time over a decade in the WNBA. It's truly a partnership with the Dallas Wings, and appreciate the business operations and basketball operations on how closely we work together. And then finally, I want to thank our fan base for their support, their patience, and continued loyalty as we build this franchise into a champion. Really appreciate the ongoing support. So let's get to the most important part, why we're here today. Excited. At the end of the season, we conducted a thorough review and deliberate approach to where we were as a franchise and where we wanted to go. Ultimately made a decision to make a leadership change. And as we made that leadership change, it was very important for us to establish and set priorities as we began the search for a new head coach. Priorities for us were looking for an experienced head coach, first and foremost. We wanted a proven winner that had had sustained success throughout their career. We wanted a communicator, a relationship builder that could continue to really grow the franchise and where we wanted to take it. We wanted a developer of talent, not only individually. We talked a lot about player development individually, but we also wanted a player development within teams and developing within teams our players' talent. The buzzword around the WNBA is innovator. So we also very much wanted an innovator, a great basketball strategy mind, and someone that could take us into the new era of basketball the way it's being played. And lastly, a coach, if possible, with an international outreach. Certainly as the game continues to globalize, as our roster continues to have multiple international players, an outreach internationally was important to us with the search. We found our guy. We found our coach in Jose. When you look at those buckets that we viewed as very important in this search, we found an experienced coach, Jose, as the WBCA president, our entire Women's Basketball Coaches Association president. He develops pros. Currently still has about 30 people that he coached at South Florida playing internationally and within the WNBA. He's an innovator. He has great approach at the offensive end, and when you talk to colleagues around the country, they always talk about the preparation of his teams, the innovation of his teams offensively. And lastly, there's no coach in the States that has recruited and coached successfully international talent like Jose has during his 25 years at South Florida, and we view that as such a plus moving forward with the Dallas Wings. So simply stated, we're here today to formally introduce Jose as we found our coach. So help me welcome as our next head coach of the Dallas Wings, Jose Fernandez.
Thank you, Kurt. And thank you, Bill Cameron, Greg Bibb, Travis Charles, and Jasmine Thomas for giving me the opportunity to be the head coach of the Dallas Wings. This was a franchise I wanted to work for. This was a team I wanted to coach. And this was the GM I wanted to work for. We have an unbelievable front office. And I'm really, really looking forward to this incredible partnership, working for a great basketball mind in Kurt Miller, who I have so much respect for. Okay, so I would like to thank the University of South Florida for the last 25 years. All the athletic directors, assistant coaches, support staff members, but most importantly, the players I was able to coach throughout my career. I would not be here today as a Dallas Wings head coach if it wasn't for the incredible experiences that we shared together. To the entire Tampa Bay community, season ticket holders, donors, and supporters that helped make the USF program what it is today, I thank you. Next, I can't wait to get to work with this group. I want to thank the players in attendance. We've had incredible initial conversations, and I can't wait to get to know you and really get to work. This has been a big change this time of the year, not being in the gym, so I can't wait to get started. To my wife, Tanya, and my entire family, thank you for supporting me in this journey and my entire coaching career. I look forward to bringing a level of championship excellence in everything that we do to make the Dallas Wings franchise, their fans, and the city of Dallas proud. Would like to end with this. Para todos los hispanos que tienen un sueño, sí se puede. And one more, I worked with a gentleman that made an incredible impact for a year and a half at the University of South Florida. And I'm going to deviate from his quote. This won't be the same old Dallas Wings, my brother. Change is coming, and we're going to win. Thank you.
We'll now open up to questions. Anyone in person, just raise your hand. We'll get the mic over to you. Otherwise, on the Zoom, raise hands. Over here, Steven. And if you could just say name and affiliation so Jose can learn.
Great, this is the fun part.
Jose, Stephen Hawkins with the Associated Press. Like you said, this is a team and a person you want to work for, but why was now the right time for you? 25 years of college, played USF. Why is now the right time for you to go pro and to do this move?
I've been asked that question a lot. Being at South Florida and being at probably the highest supported major in the country, I had a great situation there. The WNBA and where it's at right now and the other that it has, and the support of ownership and the front office with a brand new practice facility and an arena downtown, and with draft picks ahead, why not? I came here for one reason, and the reason was I had a great situation at South Florida. I could have retired there, stayed there for the rest of my coaching career. I came here to win because I believe in ownership, I believe in the franchise, and I believe in the front office and the partnership that we're going to have to be successful here.
Go to Grant.
Grant Assa, the DallasHoopsJournal.com. You mentioned excitement for the roster. Just what are some of the elements of this roster that stand out to you that give you that excitement long term?
I like the youth. I like the versatility. We're definitely going to play different. Our playbook's going to be expanded. We're going to look to score early in transition. And in the half court, we're going to be very, very efficient on where we want to get the basketball to. And that's going to be how we practice, how we prepare, and how we do things on a daily basis.
Go to Alexa on the Zoom.
Lots of Phil ESPN. Thanks for the time today, Jose. You obviously coach, you have a relationship with Gino, and I'm sure well familiar with Paige Beckers. From your conversations with Gino over the years, from any conversations you've had with Paige, what excites you most about the opportunity to coach her as she enters, her second year in the W after a tremendous rookie season?
Paige is special, rookie of the year, and one of the faces of the league. I like her with the ball in her hands and with the ball not in her hands. And everybody knows it's not a secret that Gino and I have known each other for a very, very long time. He's one of the most respected coaches in the entire country, and the success speaks for itself. But he was very plain and simple when he talked to me about Paige. And Kurt and I will be headed to New York for league meetings, and then I'll be headed up to Stores to watch them practice, shoot around, and play Ohio State. Great players want to be coached. She wants to be coached and held accountable. And I think the things that we're going to do in the half court and in the open floor are going to suit her. So I'm really excited to get to work with her, because there's a shot that Gino said, if there's a shot you want her to make, she'll make it. If there's something you're going to run for, she's going to run it. So I think it's very important, not only developing a relationship with her, but everybody on the roster, on where they feel comfortable on the floor, and what they like, what they don't like. But the great thing is now I have the next 4 or 5 months to do that.
Again, anyone in person, just raise your hand. We'll get the mic over to you. We go to
Mason Garcia, podium finish. As you begin your tenure with the Wings, what are your immediate priorities, and then how do those tie into your vision for long-term success?
The immediate priorities are getting to know everybody on the roster. That's the most important. Building relationships. Doesn't matter how we can practice really hard, we can prepare, scouting reports can be on point, player development can be great, but if this team's not connected, right, and we don't have great respect for one another and accountability, right, there's a lot of great teams in there, but when the locker room's not good and there's not great connection with the staff, and the staff doesn't have a great voice and a together voice, and the players and the coaches are not on the same page, you're not going to be successful. So that's my biggest thing right now, leading up to March, the training camp, is getting to know each and every one of them personally.
Drake.
Drake Keeler, 9. Coach Kurt mentioned your international experience, connections. Just how do you feel that'll be an advantage for the team?
I think at South Florida, we've always done more with less. We had to be creative. Had 7, 8 WNBA draft picks. Not one of them were a top 100 recruit coming out of high school or international wise. So I think that was because of what we did player development wise, and putting players in the right positions offensively and defensively, that they had an opportunity to get drafted. And now, like Kurt mentioned, how many players are still playing there overseas because of the system that we played, and it was an easy adjustment from the collegiate level to the professional level.
Go to Jackie Powell on Zoom.
Hi, Jackie Powell with the 9 Basketball. I've got a question for each, if that's okay. I'll start with Kurt. We've seen a lot of fluctuation in coaching in the WNBA in the past few years. Back in 2020, there was a rule that was implemented to try to develop the coaching pipeline by adding an additional assistant as long as a former player was on staff. Just generally, with that in mind, I'm curious what you think needs to be the next step in the WNBA when it comes to growing the pipeline of coaches, so people that are committed to this league can grow and be rewarded for that commitment.
Thanks, Jackie. And I'm going to take the time to, I think I'd be remiss not to give credit to last year's staff on all that did go right in a season where our win-loss record wasn't where we wanted it to be. what this group navigated in terms of adversity with the amount of injuries, the amount of hardship players that came in and out, the amount of games that were played last year is a true credit of how they stayed together in the locker room. That's a credit to the former coaching staff. That's a credit to our players of really sticking together through all the adversity last year. And I want to take the opportunity to really mention that because there were so many positive things that came out, and that adversity that this group went through last year will absolutely accelerate where we're going in the future, and that can never be taken. Chris and his staff's footprint will be felt for multiple years to come within this organization. In terms of, Jackie, answering your question in terms of the staff, obviously, one of the things for that's growing in our league is the second row. We see the 3 assistants on the front row with head coaches now that are gaining invaluable experience. But like the NBA, the second row of coaches is growing more and more in the WNBA, and I think that's going to only add to opportunities for young coaches, especially coaches that are coming from their playing days, that they can get their feet wet and an opportunity to work their way from the second row to the first row, and then ultimately be in these opportunities to not only interview but land future head coaching jobs in this league. Obviously, it's really, really important that former players continue to be put in that pipeline to have their opportunities in the WNBA.
I appreciate that. And Jose, for you, since you're new to the WNBA, I'm just curious how vital building a staff with coaches who, really know this league is going to be for you moving forward.
Without a doubt, I think first and foremost, when you're putting a staff together, you're looking at how are they going to be able to connect with other staff members, with players, player development, X and O strategies on both ends of the floor. So my plan for this staff is, of course, there has to be a big weight on professional experience on the staff, whether it be NBA, WNBA, EuroLeague. So that's going to be the first thing that there's a huge interest, unbelievable interest in coming here to work with our front office and with its team and with the Dallas Wings organization. A lot of people were scared about this job. I wasn't scared. There's a lot of pressure that comes with this job. But pressure's a privilege. That means something's expected of you. I thrive on pressure. I thrive on chaos. Our players will see that because you have to be calm under pressure and calm under chaos. So I will be tackling the staff situation here, really taking a deep dive in the next week. I'm going to meet with the former staff tomorrow. It's only fair to talk to each and every one of them about the past experience and what do they envision going forward. But that is going to be the first priority here in the next month, putting an elite staff together to have the same voice, to connect, to be able to play or develop, and to represent this organization in an unbelievable fashion.
Thank you.
Noah Buller, NBC5 Dallas and Telemundo. Bienvenidos a Dallas.
Gracias.
Tú sí puedes, so you open it up with that. If you can answer this both in English and Spanish.
Oh boy.
Just,
How do you want me to start?
let's go English and then go Spanish.
Okay.
Just if you could talk about, there's a lot of Latinos here in town. Just talk about the impact, with yourself and just being able to impact the city with, Latinos and just kind of reach out to them. And I have a follow-up question on that as well.
Well, growing up in the city of Miami and living there the majority of my life, I moved from Miami to Tampa, and as you know, we have a lot of Hispanic head coaches coaching at the NCAA Division I level, and I have a lot of people to thank for that. We have an organization, the Latino Association of Basketball Coaches. I serve on the advisory board of that as well, along with the WBCA presidency. But the Latino culture especially in the state of Florida, as you know, it's just like here in Dallas. So by me becoming the head coach of Dallas Wings, can motivate and also people can realize that it can be done. So hopefully it will create more opportunities for Latinos and Hispanic Americans.
And then en español.
Como dije, bueno, la oportunidad aquí de ser ahora el entrenador de un equipo como los Dallas Wings y profesional en WNBA es una oportunidad más alta aquí en los Estados Unidos. Y como dije, si tienes un sueño, sí se puede en cualquier cosa que quieras hacer.
And can you just speak on Dallas itself? I mean, hungry for basketball in this town, the market. What do you know about it? What do you hope to do in this town to, I mean, and attendance was low last year, but I mean, it's growing. Just can you speak on?
Attendance has been great the last 2 years, selling all the season ticket holders. When this group has gone on the road, you're second in attendance and road attendance. I believe everything that this organization stands for. When I met Greg last December, the 3 pillars: winning championships, making sure you invest in the community, and generating revenue. And I still remember that. I didn't write it down, but those 3 things stuck with me when we spoke the first time. I'm familiar with Dallas because we played our conference tournament in Tequila Arena, and we've played SMU, TCU, and UT Arlington. But my family and I look forward to living here March all the way through middle of November, right? Because that's the plan. That's the plan. I'm planning on going back to Dallas after middle of November.
Good to wrap up Zoom.
Thanks, Kraut Janssen from the Podium Finish. Coach, bienvenidos a Dallas. The Wings have a mix of established and young talents. Some of them in the room right now. I know Maddie's there, JJ and Diamond are there, and of course Paige Beckers. How do you plan to maximize each of their strengths and potential to help the team succeed long term, given your very innovative approach and your dynamics with player development?
Can you repeat the end of
Yeah, hello, very good question. How do you plan to maximize each of your players' strengths and potential to help this team succeed long term with your innovative approach and your relationship building dynamic?
Again, it's getting in the gym, right, and spending time with them with player development and workouts leading up to training camp. But and once we get into training camp, looking at what our roster has, make no mistake, if you've seen us play at the University of South Florida in the system, it's a pro style, and it has a lot of Euro influence in the amount of things that we do offensively, with different actions, with screening, with player movement, with ball movement. I think the most important thing is what we're going to do. Our best players are going to get the basketball, and we're going to play with great pace. We're going to play with great spacing. But it's making sure you put the entire 5 on the floor in comfort, where they're comfortable and they believe in what we're running.
Hi, my name is Deja Jane. Nice to meet you.
Pleasure to meet you.
I'm pretty involved in the community. I'm just a Dallas content creator. But my question is, what is your plan to show up for the Dallas community, like as a whole, when it comes to building rapport between the city and the team, especially in this political climate? How will the Wings show up for the community?
Well, whatever I need to do for this organization, to make sure that I'm a great representative of this franchise and this brand, I will do so. My wife and I are very passionate about things that we were involved in Tampa. We're very passionate about dog shelters and rescue animals. So I know Tanya will do that here in the Dallas community, where we have 8 dogs ourselves that were all rescues. But there are a lot of different organizations that we were involved with in Tampa. So hopefully that carries over here to the Dallas community.
Okay, I would hope to see you invest in the more Dallas-centered things as well. Do you plan on doing so?
Well, we're going to find out where we're going to be living.
Okay, I'm excited for that.
I'm leaving the decision to we're going to need a lot of land. So
Okay.
for the 8 dogs, so I
Texas
think
has
it's
a
going to
lot.
have to be in the Dallas area. We're not going to find that in others. But
Perfect. Sounds great.
feel free to reach out. Reach out to me, and maybe
Definitely.
we can help each other out.
Oh,
And you can introduce me to a lot of things to get involved in.
Yes. Yes. Thank you.
All right.
We'll go to Blake on the Zoom.
Hey, Coach. This is Blake Fernandez from Wings Tape and W Swish. What core values will define your coaching philosophy with the Wings, and how do you plan to establish a new culture in your first season within the team?
Well, 3 things: accountability, every day and everything that we do, coaching staff, players, how we talk to one another, how we practice, how we prepare. Next, trust, trusting the coaching staff, trusting each other. And third, truth. Our players are always going to know what I'm thinking, what their role is. So think about those 3 words: accountability, trust, and truth.
Go to Brad on the Zoom.
Yeah, hi, Coach. How are you? Brad from WS Asian. Can you speak of the lessons from your long tenure at USF and how they will guide you in establishing stability here?
Well, I had a lot of stability at South Florida, being at a place for 25 years. So we had a lot of success there. I think we did an unbelievable job recruiting the right people and having the right people in our program. And when you're successful, you have an incredible culture. So when you bring in newcomers who are now in the transfer portal era or freshmen coming in, your veterans, right? They control the locker room, and they really talk about, this is how we do things here. And that's what we want to establish here with the Dallas Wings: an incredible culture, a level of championship excellence in everything that we do.
Josh, you can get the mic over here. We'll go to DJ on the Zoom, and then we'll go to Maya in person.
Coach, congratulations. Can you hear me?
Yep, you're good.
I wanted to know 2 questions. When you walk into this, obviously, Kurt Miller talked about wanting a winner, developer, and talent, and you've gone from high school gyms in Miami, Barry University, the NCAA, now the WNBA. When you walk into this Dallas Wings job or position, what's one lesson that you feel, one coaching lesson that you feel that still holds true no matter what the level? And I'll ask my second question after.
Well, the one lesson is having great relationships and honesty with your players, right? That's the biggest thing. The relationship building, the trust that you have with your players, and the players believing in what you do every single day in practice, coming out of a timeout, the game planning.
Okay, then my second question is, what's the first cultural foundation you want to set inside of the Wings locker room this year?
The first one, well, I think it's going to start when we get together and how we practice, right? In the pros and even college, multiple efforts are so important. How you react to when you make a mistake or the next best action that you're going to make. I think the expectations on how we prepare and how we practice are going to be crucial. It's going to be a lot different. It's going to be a lot different. But we got to be different to get to the playoffs. We got to be different to get to the playoffs, because you can't win a championship without getting to the playoffs. And that's what we're going to do.
Thank you, Coach.
Hi, Coach. Maya Taylor with the Dallas Morning News. You had mentioned the transfer portal. I was just wondering, how have some of the changes in the NCAA helped you prepare for taking on the pros?
Well, it's funny, we were on a phone call a couple days ago still trying to figure out how many days the transfer portal needs, with Division I football changing their transfer portal window, what's going to be the right days. And I think men's and women's basketball are probably going to land on 15 days. Now, is it going to be after the Sweet 16? Is it going to be after the Elite 8? Is it going to be after the Final Four? And then if there's a coaching change, adding probably 5 days to that. But most players know at the end of the year whether they're going to go in the portal or not. So I think the least amount of time where it doesn't become a bidding war. And because Division One athletics, it's totally changed. It's professional athletics now. Not only with the shared revenue number, but the money that you can make outside of the NIL opportunities.
Go to Alexa on Zoom.
Kurt, I wanted to ask this question for you. With Jose now, on staff and the hires that he's gonna come up with, how does that change or adjust any about your approach for free agency moving forward with his system that he wants to implement? I know there's so much uncertainty in general when we think about the 2026 season and roster, but how do you want to meld, the philosophies, the system that he's bringing in with, your approach heading to next season?
Yeah, I think, Alexa said, there's obviously a collaboration between the front office, the three of us GMs, and Jose. A lot of communications leading up to free agency on style of play, type of players. We had a lot of those conversations during the interview process and the vetting process. Obviously, we both have a big belief in culture and that you still win in the locker room before you win on the court. And so we're committed to doing it with the right people. And one of the things that Jose walks into is a really strong culture of togetherness in that locker room. And again, that's a credit to our players / coaching staff. There is that. We know with the upcoming expansion draft that we're going to lose some players that we don't necessarily want to lose, but we have such a young core base. After the trade deadline last year, we were the youngest team in the league. We finished as the youngest team in the league, so we're very excited about that and building on that. But we have to add veterans in this free agency. We have to continue to add talent to that locker room because a lot is right that Jose and his new staff will walk into in that locker room. But we've got to continue to raise the talent level. But there will be tremendous collaboration going into decisions around expansion draft, decisions around free agency, and then ultimately decisions that we'll find out later this month where we land in the draft with the exciting draft lottery coming up here weeks away. So I'm excited for all those decisions, but there'll be collaboration. And Jose and I have trouble staying off the phone each night talking basketball, and college started and we were sitting there on the phone talking for 20 minutes while we were watching games together through the phone, probably driving Tanya crazy already. But we're both basketball junkies. We've known each other for a long time, and that collaboration has already strongly begun.
I know it might be difficult with all the uncertainty around the actual roster construction, but Jose mentioned wanting to get back to the playoffs and competing for championships. Is that where you see at least when we think about 2026, is the goal automatically to be back in playoff contention for this group?
Yeah, and it was last year, despite our youth and ultimately the decisions that I had to make when the injuries started to mount. And as we, continue to work behind the scenes to truly get the culture right and collaborate with players. Like one of the fun things last year was collaborating with Paige behind the scenes on player movement. And, that collaboration between coaching staff and front office, between select players, is really, really important. And, we ask our players all the time, what do they feel about some of the other players around the league, the rumors that are out there. So our goal doesn't change. We want to get in the playoffs. And Jose's, put it really bluntly, you have to be in the playoffs to chase a championship. And that's where we want to be. And I also, want to elaborate, this job wasn't for everyone. I was very, very honest and transparent with our candidates and our candidate pool that this job is a tough job. The scrutiny that comes, the expectation that comes right now with the Dallas job is extremely high. And that scared people. And what I loved about it, it did not scare. In fact, it motivated Jose in our conversations. And you can look at the schedule he put together for the South Florida team this year. #1 strength of schedule in the nation. #1. The South Carolinas, the UConns, the UCLAs were all on his schedule this year. Jose's not going to duck anything, and he thrives with it. And we talked about how difficult. There's very, very accomplished coaches that I spoke to that you could tell were shocked by the conversation of how tough we believe this job is because of the scrutiny that comes with it.
Time for two more. Start here.
Thanks, Kurt.
Anthony Council with Texas Metro News. Coach, your record last year was, it was 23-11, multiple ACC championships. Your goal is to get this team to the playoffs. What is the identity that you're going to bring in first day of training camp?
I think the identity of this team's got to be collaborative too, between the staff and the players, right? It can't just be what we want to accomplish. It's got to be what we're all going to accomplish. But the identity is that we're going to play harder than anybody in this league. We're going to rim run harder. Our wings are going to sprint harder. We're going to attack the rim. We're going to create second shot opportunities. We're going to cut hard. We're going to screen hard. We're going to stop in point of attack early. We're going to be tough to play against. That's going to be the identity. And you find that in practice. So then the games are going to come really easy by the way that we're going to practice, and that comes with player development, with individual workouts, and how we're going to practice for that training camp.
Last one to Noah.
No, again, New Basic 5. With all there's a lot of opportunity out there for these young ladies. Can you speak on just what's out there, like those rivals, and does it make you nervous having players play? Both of you guys can answer this question. Playing elsewhere, or do you think that's a good thing?
Do you want to answer this one first?
Yeah, I think opportunities are fantastic. We're excited about our 6 players that are down at Unrivaled. The 3 of us GMs are just back from a 2-week international tour where we were able to catch up with current players under our contractual control, and then evaluating and watching young talent that will be in the upcoming draft. I think it's important that our players find the balance of rest and recovery. We were banged up. We were one of the teams that had 5 season-ending injuries. It's unheard of. So there's a balance with our players recovering, some rehabbing off of off-season surgeries, and then also staying sharp and working on their game. And that's, in a variety of different areas. Some of that's in 3-on-3 leagues, some of that's in international 5-on-5 leagues, or domestic 5-on-5 leagues. So there's a true balance for our group to get healthy, find the proper rest, but also stay sharp as we, inch closer to a training camp that will be here fast in April.
Unrivaled, you have to be in unbelievable shape conditioning wise, because it's nonstop, it's full court. There's not breaks in the game, and you have to be a really good on-ball defender and containing the dribble and keeping the ball in front of you. And next, it creates so many pick-and-roll situations, which I think will make players better. That will translate to the W. And when you're playing overseas, you're only playing 1 game a week, right? Maybe 2, so the rest of the days, you're really taking care of your body and doing more player development than anything else. So it's great that there's so many opportunities for our players in the off season, and there's going to be another league coming as well, as it was announced a while back. But what you want is, again, what Kurt said, that they're fresh when they're coming into training camp, because we're going to have a really long year. But it's great to have those opportunities and those experiences.
Kurt, thank you. We're gonna hold for a little bit, do some photo ops. So we'll each chair for you guys. We'll start with Kurt and Jose, and then we'll break some.
Thank you all again for coming. Go Wings.